Natural Resources Subcommittee is now in session. Kyle, would you please take the roll?
Representative Fritz. Here. Representative Halsey. Here. Representative Jones. Here. Representative Reedy. Here. Representative Shaw. Here. Representative Travis. Here. Vice Chairman Darby. Here. Chairman Todd. Here. Chairman Grills.
Here.
Representative, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Kyle, for that. Representative Fritz, if you would lead us in prayer, and after prayer, would you give us the pledge to the United States flag?
Thank you, Father, for this day that you've given us. Creator God, thank you for these resources that you've given us, this farmland, the beauty of this state. Pray, God, that you would give us on this committee the wisdom to do your work in regards to these matters. We pray that in the name of Jesus. Amen. If you would stand with me. Salute. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Representative Fritz, for that, and that will be a common practice if everything works right around here. First off, I want to thank Speaker Sexton for the opportunity to get to serve in this capacity in this committee and for the chances to impact the lives of our fellow Tennesseans. Knowing that we live in a republic and not a democracy, so therefore we are charged to represent our fellow constituents to the best of our ability in accordance to the Constitution. My desire is that you find me to be transparent, honest, fair, and occasionally fun during this session. And our goal and desire as servant leaders should be to bring pleasure to the God of heaven and how we serve our fellow Tennesseans. Revelation chapter 4, verse 11 says, "Thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory, honor, and power, for thou hast created all things, and for thy pleasure they are and were created." And that's my goal, that we bring honor and glory to the Lord of heaven in everything that we do and how we conduct ourselves and how we manage ourselves and how we treat each other. I'd like to start off now, if we would. Who would like to go first introducing themselves? Monty Fritz? How about we start down here? Brother Johnny Shaw, you go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I am Representative Shaw, District 80, West Tennessee. I'm starting my 23rd year here in the legislature this year.
I can't beat that. You cannot. I represent House District 74, which is a very reformed House district, rural Tennessee. Of course, that's going to be a lot of our agriculture folks. Houston, Humphreys, Benton, Stewart, part of Henry County, which I share with Chairman Tandy Darby.
Chris Todd, I chair the full committee of this austere body, and I am represented from Madison County. I represent about 2/3 of Madison County, District 73, and live just north of Jackson. Have been here, this is my start of the 5th year, and have thoroughly enjoyed serving the people of Madison County in this state, and look forward to as much as they want me to do in the future. Thank you.
Hello, Ron Travis, District 31. That is Sequatchie County, Bledsoe County, Ray County, and Van Buren County. And it's a beautiful, beautiful farmland. It's one of the best, and excited to be here. I started in agriculture when I came in 2012, and I came back to agriculture in 2020. And it's good to be here, and it's good to be with you, Chairman, and donuts would be great. I mean, I like it for what you got.
Duly noted. Okay. Representative Jones.
Good morning. My name is Representative Justin Jones. I represent the 52nd District, which runs from East Nashville to Antioch. It's a completely urban district, and so I'm looking forward to learning a lot on this agricultural committee, and honored to serve. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tandy Darby, District 76, which comprises Weakley, Carroll, and Henry counties. And I got a good one to the east of me there is in Jay Reedy. Got a ag business degree from UTM. I'm in the produce business now, and ag's been a part of my life since I was a tot. So definitely looking forward to this one. Thank you.
Bud Halsey, District 2, which is Kingsport and Blunkville. This is my 9th year, I think. And Johnny Shaw tells me he's now in favor of term limits, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Monty Fritz, live in Kingston, District 32, most of Roane County and a portion of Loudoun County. So honored to get to serve on this committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you to each of y'all who introduced yourselves. My name is Rusty Grills. I serve District 77, northwest part of Tennessee. I am a 9th-generation farmer. I farm with my 2 brothers' dad there on a row crop operation. And this is going into my fourth year. And had a blast up here. This is one of those things that you never, as a child, you never get to think you'd ever get to do, but it's what America's about, opportunities. As we want to introduce our committee staff, to my right here is Kyle Faulkner. He's the assistant that keeps me in line or on time. Our committee attorney, Ms. Lovin, good to have you here. We will be calling upon you quite often, I'm certain. Jeremy Maxwell, he's awesome. He's right here with us. He's our research analyst. He's always great. Ryan Foltz, is that how you say that? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where are you from?
Nashville, Tennessee.
All right. Good to have you. Yes, sir. Good to have you. Sergeant of Arms, where are you from?
I live in Hermitage.
Fantastic. Mr. Wayne Hawkins, right? All right. Well, good to have you. And the committee intern, Alexis Nelson. Okay, so good to have you, and if you have any problem with Chairman Todd down there, you let us know, and we'll take care of him, okay? Thank you all for being here. Kind of like to do something just a little bit different. I know we got 3 bills to be heard, but I would like to take a couple of minutes each committee and give each member throughout the year an opportunity to highlight their district and talk about the different things that their district contributes to the state. Agriculture, natural resources, and how they help contribute to the GDP of the state. And not to make a presentation or a political statement or anything like that, but just so we can learn a little more about each other. And I feel that it's only fair that I go first since I'm asking everyone else to do that. And if you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. But I'll just start off right quick. You can see where my district is here to your left or on the screen. And that right there is a picture of TWRA and all the land that TWRA owns. They own almost 75,000 acres in my district. And if you've heard about duck blinds in the last 2 or 3 years, I have 1/3 of the duck blinds, the state draw duck blinds in my district. So that's somewhat of a hot topic in the past. But TWRA has a huge presence, and obviously they're under this committee. Kyle, help me out. Get me to that next page so we can go on, if you will. Thank you, Jeremy, for helping us there as well. Now, these are not my family members, but these are some of the products that are raised in our part of the world. And go on, Jeremy, just slip through there. We'll get pretty quick. My district is the #1 producer of soybeans. We're the #1 producer of corn, and we contribute to 1/10 of the state's agriculture sales in District 77. So we have a pretty big footprint as far as what we do. This right here is an ethanol plant there in Obion County, Green Plains ethanol plant. They produce 120 million gallons of ethanol annually. It's a huge facility. They process 120,000 bushel of corn a day, and that adds about 30 cents to every bushel of corn sold in that part of the world. So it's a huge impact on our the farm economy and the market there. So it's very much an added value. This right here is just another grain facility that we have there on the Mississippi River. Now, these are some of the different facilities we have in the agriculture retail, some of the tractor and equipment retailers. Go back one, please. Tyson there has 2 facilities in my district. They process 1.25 million chicken per week. We also have a Tyson facility in New Bern. They process pork. And over to the right there, that's a family started business back in 1958, Williams Sausage. They sell 70 million pounds of sausage annually. They employ 530 people. It's whole hog sausage, and if you've ever eaten it, you will not forget it. It's the best you can get anywhere in the world, in my opinion, but it all comes from there in Obion County. We also have 2 research facilities, Bear and Pioneer. They are there researching new technologies for seed, chemicals, and different things of that nature that will help us into the future and feed the future generations. Lake County is home of Kate's Landing. It's a port that accesses the Mississippi River, and it connects the Northwest Tennessee to the Mississippi River and the rest of the world. Go ahead. And that right there is just another pretty much a typical afternoon with the way the sun sets there over the Mississippi River Bridge. There's another picture there of the Port of Kate's Landing, a fantastic place if you ever want to come down and visit. Now that right there is one of our supermodels from District 77 and his family. No, that's my little girls, and the only hard part about this job is leaving them. But you know, my wife's not in there. She's probably taking the picture. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to get to be up here. I hate having to leave them, but thank you for this opportunity. And with that, we'll go on to the next order of business, and that will be the first bill, House Bill 53. If I have a motion and a second. We have a motion and a second. It's been properly before the committee. Representative Lynn.
House Bill 53 will amend the State Fair Exposition Commission Board. There's some named board members in the law, and one of the named board members is the Tennessee Association of Fairs, and it says executive director. Well, they're all volunteers. They don't have an executive director, so we'd like to amend it to just say a representative of the Tennessee Association of Fairs.
We have a question been called. Seeing no other opposition, we will be voting on House Bill 53 to send it to the full committee. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay. The bill moves on to the full committee.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next on the calendar, we have. Are you in a hurry to get somewhere, Kip? Are you? We're going to, if it'd be okay with the committee, we're going to take House Bill 81 out of order to get him a. All right. We have a motion. We have a second. Representative Capley, your bill is properly before the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 81, this is a TDEC administration bill. This bill will allow Tennessee State Parks to disclose information contained in motor vehicle accident reports in the same manner as these reports are normally disclosed in the rest of the state. As many of you know, I'm sure insurance companies often need motor vehicle accident reports to process an individual's claim. Under the current law, state park staff, they need to express authorization of the guests to do so. This requirement creates unnecessary operational difficulty for both state park staff and guests. So we're changing that up.
All right. Do we have any questions for the guest? Have question on the bill? Seeing no one in opposition to calling a question on the bill, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Bill moves on to full committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Hale, I believe you have bill number HB 80. Motion. We have a motion and a second. The bill is properly before the committee. Representative Hale, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. House Bill 80 was brought to me by the Department of Environment and Conservation. This bill will remove an administration burden. Basically, they're removing a 5-year renewal that has to be done with the underground injection activities. And they're already required, if they have to make, if there's any changes made, they have to notify the state. So this would just, when there's no changes, it just removes that burden. That's what this law or this statute basically does. There's no reason for them to be filing every 5 years to renew this.
Representative Shaw, you have a question?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sir, can you tell me who is Environmental and Conservation? Who is that?
Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation.
Oh, that's who that is.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do we have any more questions or any more gigs we want to throw at the witness? Questions been called on the bill?
I had a question.
Representative Jones, that's okay. Representative Jones, you recognize?
Representative, I had a few questions about this legislation. What is TDEC doing to make sure that injections authorized by this rule don't impact drinking water sources?
Would you like to speak?
If it be the committee's will, we'll go out of session and have a witness answer some of these questions. All right. We're out of session.
Good morning, committee chairman. I'm Britton Dotson. I'm with the Division of Water Resources with TDEC, and I would be happy to try to answer your question. This particular bill is something that we have been requesting for a couple of years. When I came into contact with this program, and what this program is it governs points where liquids are put into the subsurface. It's a federal program. They refer to those points as injection wells. There's all kinds of different injection wells, some serious, some not so serious. The ones that are of least threat to water quality are authorized actually in the UIC rule. In other words, the rule says that those activities can be conducted. Now, what I found very awkward was telling people that they have to renew an authorization that was actually authorized by the rule when the rule had not changed. It was, the renewal process is very appropriate for permitted activities, but activities that are authorized by rule are simply authorized by rule and would continue to be as long as the rule is in place, with no need to actually renew that. Now, those individuals, and what we're talking about are, say, large septic systems, sinkholes that have been modified to receive stormwater, that sort of thing. There's thousands of them across the state. What this program does is maintains an inventory of those points. Who owns them and what's the nature of the wastewater that's going into them. That's the sole purpose of that particular program. The proposed bill just simply says those authorizations aren't subject to the 5-year permit term renewal that permitted activities are. And it was something we recognized that was really served no purpose, was purely administrative, and it was a byproduct of how we brought those rules into the state of Tennessee. So what we're doing, to answer your question specifically, to be protective of drinking water resources, groundwater being one of them, is we require individuals that are operating these injection wells to obtain certain authorizations. We need to know where they are. We need to know the nature of what's going in them, who owns them. And now, the more serious ones, like that would inject wastewater into the subsurface or any other types of waste, would actually go through a pretty aggressive permitting process. And again, this is a federal program. Tennessee obtained primacy to implement the program in 2015. The federal program doesn't require 5-year permit renewals. So we're actually more closely mirroring the federal rule with this proposed legislative amendment.
Mr. Britton, would it be fair to say that this pretty much harmonizes the state's policy with the federal policy?
Absolutely. It doesn't expand the population of activities. It doesn't reduce the population of activities that are subject to authorization.
May I respond, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Representative
Thank
Jones.
you so much. Do you believe that this provision which allows for certain types of injections to last forever, hamper public participation and public transparency around keeping our groundwater and our drinking water clean and safe? In what ways do you think that this does not hamper transparency and public participation?
Mr. Britton.
When someone requests authorization to operate one of these points, that information goes into a public database. In other words, all of those injection wells have a point, have a number associated with them. That exists whether there's a renewal process or not. The only reason it would come off is if the operator has communicated to us that it's no longer being operated as an injection well. So the information available to the public would remain the same. It would remain the same until either the rule changed or we were notified that it was no longer an injection well.
May I ask a final question, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Representative Jones.
Thank you so much. My final question is, will this bill apply to injection wells that are located close to or in the recharge zones of individual or municipal drinking water wells? And how many of these wells are in recharge zones or drinking water wells?
There are prohibitions for certain types of injections based on proximity to drinking water wells. This particular family of injection wells would not have that limitation. Now, again, for example, the vast majority of them in the state are natural sinkholes that stormwater is being directed into. So it's a very natural process. We really don't anticipate pollutants going into that. The remainder of the bulk of the wells that this would apply to would be large septic systems, and those are governed very closely by a separate program, the Subsurface Sewage Disposal Act. So those are put into suitable soils. They're inspected closely. So it's, there's not a concern on behalf of TDEC that somehow this loosens some type of regulatory responsibility, or it doesn't tie our hands. In other words, if there is a problem, if something shows up in the water supply, then what this inventory does, it gives us a number. Where do we look? Where do we look first? We look at the points that are already identified as injection wells. Then we get a much better population of, what a problem might be tied to. So,
Representative Fritz, you recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one quick question, sir. Do I understand from what you're saying that TDEC's position is that there's no compromise to the safety of the health or of our drinking water through this action, and it's primarily just to remove an unnecessary bureaucratic function?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. Chairman Halsey?
My comment's kind of similar. So this is the first time, or at least that I've seen, when a bureaucratic arm of government is actually doing away with some unnecessary red tape. Is that correct?
Okay. Absolutely, and I'm pleased for our program.
All right. We have any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Witness. Have a good day, Mr. Britton. We're back in session. Question's been called on the bill. Do we have any objections? Seeing none, therefore we'll move forward to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Let the clerk know if you wish to be recognized as a no on this bill. Congratulations, Mr. Hale. You're going to the full committee next week. Thank you. Do we have any other further business that needs to be brought before the committee? Right before we adjourn, just want to let anyone know, if you want to participate in this little dilly, please let our office have the pictures you'd like to see on the screen 24 hours before the next committee. And if there are any amendments that need to be filed to any bills, please let those bills be filed in Chairman Todd's office by 10 o'clock on Monday morning. 10 o'clock on Monday morning. Is that correct, Chairman Todd? All right. There's no other business. We will be adjourned.